Thank you and congratulations. It has become a custom at commencement to salute those faculty members who are retiring from Gordon at the end of the academic year. So at this time, let me ask Dr. Stella Pierce to join me on the platform. Since 2001, Dr. Stella Pierce has been a professor and a leader in our education department. Most recently, she has served as the undergraduate director for the education program. With considerable expertise in special education, she spent many years as a teacher and administrator in the public schools in New Hampshire before coming to Gordon. And during her time with us has been a well-respected voice among her colleagues and an inspiration to students. Raised in the segregated schools of Georgia, she became a speech therapist and the first African American to teach in her district. In a recent essay about her experience, she wrote, "I have felt responsible to advocate for marginalized students and those with disabilities. I have often been one of the few African Americans in the school or program, or now college, where I've taught. And I have often had to turn to the words of Scripture to remember that grace transcends justice." We have all been fortunate that she has chosen to live, work, and worship with us for the past 8 years. She has taught us much about how to educate all students, to remain alert to achievement gaps, and the need to transcend the injustices around us. Dr. Pierce is also well known for her love of natural beauty, whether it is the flowers in her garden or the sunlight on the open seas, which she often enjoys with her husband, as both of them serve in the Coast Guard. Stella, I know that retirement will give you many opportunities for new voyages, and we thank you for helping us envision and pursue much greater horizons at Gordon. God bless you. Each fall, the trustees of Gordon College elect new members of the emeriti faculty. Emeritus status is reserved for retired faculty who have taught at Gordon for at least a decade and who have served the college with merit. I am pleased to introduce 2 new members of the emeriti faculty this morning. Dr. Michael Gibbons retired after 28 years on the faculty, helping found the Movement Science and Kinesiology Department, serving as the coordinator of our core curriculum, and even doing a stint as the basketball coach. Dr. Peter Stein completed 40 years on the faculty as a professor of English, teaching a wide array of courses from American Romanticism to African literature, founding the Princemere Readers Theater Troupe, and introducing many students to the literary and historical landmarks of our region. Let me ask now that both Mike and Peter stand so that we can congratulate them on their new emeritus status. The Junior and Senior Distinguished Faculty Awards are presented annually at commencement. The awards are based on nominations received from the faculty and graduating seniors. A panel of previous award winners selects one individual in each category from among the very top nominees. In making the selection, the panel considers teaching performance, scholarly and professional excellence, and service to the college and community. The Junior Distinguished Faculty Award is given each spring to an assistant or associate professor. Now, many of you, I am sure, will be stunned when I tell you that I admire this year's recipient for his precision. After all, this is the same man who used to drive around his VW Rabbit in the snow at night with the door open so he could see where he was going. True, the headlights and the windshield wipers on his car did work, although never at the same time. But somehow, in the midst of all the improvisations of his life, there are many moments of elegant precision. Just try hitting his wiffle ball, for instance. The pitch only looks frantic. Then it curves from out of nowhere and finds the strike zone. For a decade now, I have appreciated the surprising turns and careful precision of his poetry, and the impeccable timing in his delivery of a comic line, and the accuracy of his historical recreations. A skilled actor, he has performed on many local stages and appeared in films sponsored by the Discovery and History channels. He's played the part of old Puritans and performed children's shows. He has narrated radio spots for nonprofits and adapted C.S. Lewis and others for radio shows and readers' theater. He has co-led students on theater programs in Great Britain. On campus, he's launched our creative writing emphasis in the English and communication departments and devoted considerable hours to commenting on the work of its students, helping them prepare for literary journals and festivals. And through it all, he never fails to honor the college's request for a song or a lyric to enliven a faculty workshop, a Christmas program, or a tribute to a colleague. Locally, he might be best known as a playwright, especially as the author of Cry Innocent, the story of the Salem witchcraft trials that has run for nearly 2 decades. At heart, though, he is a poet, one able to find the elegant modern idiom to fit traditional forms, like a French villanelle. In the last decade, he has won more than 20 awards for his poetry, including the nomination for a Pushcart Prize. And that poetry is often notable for the unpretentious ways that it evokes many layers of faith. Consider, for instance, how his love for God's creation emerges in this one short lyric, which blends the Old Testament story of Enoch with an intimation of Christ's mercy. In the cool of the evening, there were so many things to touch. The leaves of maples dripping, the brushing needles of spruce, the wet vines tapping his calves. More than any lip against his, he felt the rough grain of a leaf he didn't know, or the touch of magnolia folded for night. Handfuls of water plunged into his face, his hands, his hair. Not just my feet, Lord, he thought. I could walk like this forever. For helping us love laughter, language, and the wonder of creation, please join me in congratulating the recipient of the Junior Distinguished Faculty Award, Mark Wakeham Stevick. If you read editorials in the press, you will frequently encounter the usual complaints about professors remaining aloof in their ivory towers. Indeed, in the modern academy, it is occasionally true that professors can often be more engaged with the narrow confines of their disciplines than with the challenges of citizenship or the general quality of learning on their campuses. On the other hand, you will not catch this year's Distinguished Faculty Award recipient in an ivory tower, if for no other reason than he hates heights, and he tries to find hotel rooms as close to the ground as possible. That certainly doesn't limit his vista. In fact, you can just as readily catch him talking with a colleague or a student about good novels, recent films, and ancient philosophy as you can engage him in conversations about the complexity of his own field of economics. He is indeed a lover of the liberal arts, one who displays, you might say, a real Catholicity of interest. For more than half a decade, this professor has led the effort to reshape the core curriculum at Gordon. To undertake such a task takes considerable patience, persistence, and high spirits, even on Friday afternoons. Debates over the core curriculum do bring out the emotions and the feistiness in students and faculty, not the least because the core matters, because it helps us define our central values and priorities. To oversee the revision of the core takes a willingness to challenge colleagues to consider new approaches, to listen to students' experiences and views, and to unveil proposal after proposal for public scrutiny, almost always leading to demands for more refinement. Through it all, this professor has sought to hear the counsel of students and peers and to hold to his vision that our core will be defined by themes that will be vital for the student's future. Those themes concern a desire for global understanding, civic responsibility, theological reflection, aesthetic practice, and a knowledge of scientific methods and principles. As a writer and a teacher, he is appreciated for the clarity of his explanations and his attention to the interface of theology, ethics, and economics. Each year, he revitalizes his senior seminar around a current topic, such as the banking crisis or the economics of global warming. In 1982, he was among a handful of founding members of the Association of Christian Economists and served for many years as the co-editor of the journal Faith and Economics. Next fall, Gordon launches a new core curriculum. For his work in guiding that revision and for his many years of exciting students about the liberal arts, I am pleased to present the Senior Distinguished Faculty Award to Professor Bruce Webb.